Wow, what up, y'all? This your boy DJ Rooster back at it again. Now for some more. There we go. Basketball talk. Playoff time. Y'all already know. Hey, first of all Jrue Holiday fans gather right here. All 10 of us. You know what I'm saying? Gather right here. There's a reason why half my content, when I'm talking about guards and team construction, I talk about Jrue Holiday. You know, this has been a great playoffs, actually showcasing everything I've been saying on my channel ever since I created it. You know what I'm saying? We got a small but mighty group, but we know the truth. All those gathered here, we understand basketball, how important defense is, how important playmaking is, how important ball handling is. You know, some of the most important traits of a basketball player. I always say Jrue Holiday is the most underrated player in sports history. And he's finally going to Boston really elevated his casual status. Because Jrue was still a better player in New Orleans. Like peak Jrue was New Orleans Jrue. That was peak Jrue. You know what I'm saying? Maybe like 1 year in Milwaukee. I'll say like that. Maybe that 1 year in Milwaukee was like peak Jrue. But people don't really understand how much he brought to the table. And we're talking about the game. Actually, look, before we get to the Portland game, I didn't really see. I missed Philly and Boston, and I missed the. I didn't know. I watched the Lakers game. I don't really have too much to say about those two. You know, I don't know what happened to Philly. I'm gonna have to watch the highlights or something. I don't know what the hell happened there. But I will say, VJ Edgecombe should have been in a discussion more for Rookie of the Year. Everybody was only talking about Cooper Flagg and Con Canopal, but VJ Edgecombe he's had this level of consistency. Dude looked like a vet. It's crazy all year. He never really dropped off, but nobody really talked about him. I don't really get how. It's just great. Philly's a big market, but people don't really talk about Philly players like that. They really just like to, dump on them, really. And their own fans, they like to dump on their own players. Because Paul George has been good for them. But Philly fans hate Paul George for whatever reason, even though Paul George has been one of the better players on the team. But as far as that game goes, it might be interesting. I don't think it's gonna, they might not win another one. They might not win another game. Hold up. Ooh, all right, something odd. But yeah, that game, Philly, I think it's gonna be interesting. They might be able to pull off one more. We'll see, because a lot of this Boston team ain't really been tested. A lot of the team they have ranks, but a lot of the players that they've been relying on ain't really been in it like that. So we'll see. Lakers, as far as the Lakers go, it is what it is. I think the Lakers going to win this series, to be honest with you. Rockets are in trouble. You need a point guard. Reed Shepard needs to play more. He needs to play next to Durant. I was looking at the plus minus a little bit, but I saw Reed Shepard was +1. Amin Thompson was +1. But like I said, plus minus ain't everything, but you need point guard. Point guard play is important. Center play is important. You need point guards maximize your centers. So, Sengun and Durant, life would be a lot easier with a point guard. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot more going on. Looking at the LeBron Lakers, I don't understand why teams don't really mismatch hunt with LeBron. It's like they're told they're not allowed to. It's weird as hell. Son, LeBron's the worst defender in the playoffs by far. And yet, they really weren't attacking him on defense, talking about, for what I've seen. I was at the bar and I was talking, so, watching the game, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they targeted him more than I didn't see, but LeBron should have been in every action. On the other side, they put Sengun in them in every action. I don't really get it. Other teams, I watched the playoffs, they mismatch hunt all game. The Rockets weren't really doing that. But also, they don't really have ball handlers like that. KD is an overrated scorer. I keep saying KD is an overrated scorer. He's not in that same tier with Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry, Pistol Pete, Larry Bird, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Carmelo Anthony Davis. I know people are going to cringe at that every time I say it, but Anthony Davis is top tier, one of the best offensive players of all time. You know what I'm saying? For me, you need to be able to score in the most situations. You know, you need to be a 3-level scorer. Davis, 3-level scorer. And Anthony Davis, he was taking on 2-3 dudes at a time, bro. Don't get me started. I could go down that rabbit hole and explain why Anthony Davis. Really, everybody, Steph Curry, Kyrie, all these dudes, your handle makes a difference. KD just never had the handle to get a shot off. It doesn't really matter how efficient you are if you can't get your shot off. You know, I bring it back to a Pokemon. You know, if you're competing in Pokemon, it doesn't matter how high your attack stat is. If your defense is trash and your speed is low. More importantly, if your speed is low. Because if you got a high attack, you got a low defense. At least if you have high speed, you can get your attack off every now and then. It's not just about the attack. It's how you set up your attack. Fighting games. It's not just about spamming your super. You have to set up your super. In all forms of competition, you have to set up your win condition. In basketball, each possession, win or loss, is determined by, if the ball goes in for the offense. Defense is a bit more complicated. Your goal on defense isn't actually to stop the opponents from scoring. It's to reduce the probability of them scoring. The basketball's an offensive game, so you're not really going to stop them from scoring. That's not really the point of defense. Like, now, if you get a stop, yes, the point of defense is probability over time. But offense, it's about right here. Like, the point of offense is scoring the basketball. You know what I'm saying? And no other players, you know what I'm saying, get so much credit for not being able to score over 2 people. Like Anthony Davis, because Davis could, but Kevin Durant has always had problems with double teams. He always has. He just doesn't. He's not physical enough. Like Carmelo Anthony can body you down low. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you send dude, he could body one dude slip through. The footwork, like Carmelo Anthony's footwork. People disrespect Carmelo so much. And they overrate Kevin Durant because Kevin Durant, it's like CJ. It's like CJ McCollum. Like, whenever we get back to the Jrue part, because I actually want to start off that, but we might as well just get the other 2 out the way now. Because Kevin Durant is really the biggest thing I really want to talk about, I'm going to make a whole video about it, really dedicated to why Kevin Durant's an overrated offensive player. Like Draymond said, and I don't like Draymond one bit, but facts are facts. I'm an agent of truth, and I don't really care where the hell the truth comes from, as long as it's true. All right? Now, Draymond said, Kyrie Irving is the player we think Kevin Durant is, and that's true. He had the hand. That's why Steph Curry is the GOAT. Man, he's the greatest offensive player of all time because Steph Curry has the greatest handle of all time. Not Kyrie. I know. I saw it. So I know. I watched tape. Steph Curry's handle. They're both like elite, but Steph Curry handles better. It just is because it's functional too. I watch because your handle is supposed to be functional. I mean, Kyrie's is functional and flashy, but Chris Paul's another one. This is very functional. He's not flashy. One of the best ball handlers of all time. Some of the best handles. But Curry's handles is flashy, functional. He's dancing on 2-3 people, bro. That is the essence of handles. Like, if you don't have a function for your handle, they don't fucking mean nothing. If you just then you're not doing nothing. The whole point of your handle is to get from point A to point B and to set up your shot and to set up your pass so you can set up your movement. It's a movement tool, So if you can't get your shot off because your handle ain't good enough, that lowers your value as an offensive player. Well, I keep arguing with people about Kevin Durant. He is an overrated offensive player. They got the top tiers with the dudes I just told you, Allen Iversons. You know what I'm saying? If he would have got more foul calls, you know what I'm saying? Talk about his percentage is low. That's because the league hated him and they ain't called fouls. Look, Steph Curry's percentages will even be as high as they are because Steph Curry don't get no fouls. So many times you go to the basket, a lot of those misses shouldn't even count because they should be fouls. That's how Allen Iverson's was. That's what it comes to. You slow down. I get a little excited. Especially when I'm frustrated over something that seems so obvious that people are brainwashed. It's not everybody's fault. See, that's what we're doing here. We're building a community to really break down basketball, understand it. Not just basketball, competition in general, the art of battle. You know, this whole channel is going to help everyone, including myself, sharpen our swords. I gotta get back into it. I used to be way more, competitive in everything. I kind of been chilling out. But at the end of the day, it's just a game. But if you analyze it critically without emotion, you could actually see, okay, it's not a big deal to Kevin Durant's overrated. You know what I'm saying? It's not a big deal. You don't need to put hatred or vitriol into it. It's just, he's not that guy. Now, when he does get his shot off, he's probably the most efficient shot maker when he does get his shot off. But getting your shot off is important and being able to do it. Because if one dude could lock you up, if all they had to do was send a double, you don't have to play making to get the ball out, then that's offense you are not generating. And if you can't even shoot your shot, what's the point? But anyway, that's enough for Kevin Durant. All right, now we're gonna get to the crux of the video. Is really what I wanted to make this for. Jrue Holiday, and we're gonna talk a little bit about Atlanta too. Congrats, because that game, these two series are really everything I've been talking about on this channel for, since I started. Out of all the players I talked about, there's three players I talked about more than anyone else. That's Jrue Holiday, Jose Alvarado, C.J. McCollum. Those three players are intrinsically linked and really it's a showcase for the city of New Orleans and how they don't understand basketball. And it's a showcase for how most casuals don't understand basketball. So I watched, once again, playoffs matter so much, and I watched, as a Pelicans fan, I watched Jrue Holiday lock down CJ and Dame in the same game. Of course, with Rondo, too, because the backcourt, defensive backcourt, one is absolutely insane. Jrue Holiday, Rondo, then Jrue Holiday and Lonzo. Pelicans had the best offensive backcourts in the history of the fucking game. Oh, son. Rondo and Jrue was a mother effing menace to watch, dog. And Lonzo, we didn't have Lonzo for long. And we fixed his shot. Even though we knew he was going to be injured. That's why we traded him, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But Lonzo was one of the greatest defenders I've seen as a rookie, bro. And then he came over as a young player, like 2-3 years in the league. I'm like, man, this dude is elite. But we get rid of Jrue because the fans, fans don't value everything Jrue brings to the table because it's not flashy. He don't get buckets. Because he's a good offensive player, but he doesn't really get buckets in that kind of way. He's not going to break you down. He's way too smooth. So he doesn't have the aesthetic that people like. So Pelicans fans, they wanted to ship Jrue out. They cried for 2 years. Let's trade Jrue for a first-round pick, which is stupid. Once again, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. If I drafted a player number one overall, and it was Jrue Holiday, then you freaking win. So I was trying to tell Pelicans fans for years. Well, I said for 2 years they cried to the organization. The only reason the organization moved them was because of the fans was crying about moving Jrue. So the fans didn't think Jrue was good enough to build around. Stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like in New Orleans sports fans, I had a battle with the New Orleans sports fans for years. I still do. You know what I'm saying? They fast forward, we had Josh Hart and we had a good little team. I was like, okay. And then we traded these dudes for CJ McCollum. And I was like, I just watched this dude be garbage in the playoffs. I know he ain't it. And I watched him in other series. He's not that guy. He ain't that dude. He's soft as shit because we pumped the fuck out of him. And they was like, oh, we about to get rough and tough with it. It was game 3 after we slaughtered Portland by 20 points per game every rip. That's why Jrue Holiday is better than Dame Lillard. Milwaukee was dumb. They traded an inferior play. They traded for an inferior player. Once again, because fans just look at buckets. Get Jrue Holiday, he can score, like just maybe not as good as Dame, but he can score. His score is close enough. You know what I'm saying? Because of his consistency and score within the offense. You know, Dame is on another level of scoring, but his score is not big enough to overtake the defense. And on top of that, Jrue can also be a ball handler. So like there's nothing Dame does that Jrue can't do and more. You know what I'm saying? Now, he's not going to be a lockdown 3-point shooter, even though he's a way better shooter now. But even back then, I was like, in my mind, I was like, Jrue Holiday's better than Dame Lillard, because it's true that y'all can disagree all you want. Prime Jrue is better than prime Dame Lillard. If you disagree, you're just wrong. And so when we got CJ, who's worse than Dame, it's a simple math. Jrue Holiday, Dame Lillard, CJ. So now we got CJ. And then we paid him the fucking max. You were mad at Brandon Ingram, you know what I'm saying? That, he had his flaws and he kind of showed that New Orleans was right about him. But Ingram wasn't getting the max. CJ was getting the max to be garbage. You know what I'm saying? And CJ's a baller, but he's not a ball handler. The problem with CJ, and we're gonna go back to Atlanta. Atlanta had the same problems that we had in New Orleans. Now, New Orleans' biggest problem was lack of point guard play. CJ forced himself to play the point guard. He wouldn't even sign unless it was like in his contract that he had to be the point guard. Well, he should have been a shooting guard and let Jose Alvarado, Jose sitting on the bench, and the number, that's all why CJ was here. Our starting unit had a worse rating than our bench, because our bench had Jose, who's a freaking point guard who ran the point. Then CJ's good, but he takes value from other players, because there's a difference between like a regular star player dominating the basketball, like a forward or not dominating the basketball. There's a difference between a shoot first guard, a shoot first forward, a center, somebody who's high volume. If they're not the primary ball handler, I say, because that means they still rely on somebody getting on the ball. The problem with CJ, how he destroys teams in ways that people don't realize, is that CJ will take a lot of these early shots, but he is the primary ball handler a lot of times. Well, he makes himself the primary ball handler. Instead of just being the two guard or playing off the ball. Go cut. Go set some fucking screens. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a big guard. You know what I'm saying? Guards don't normally set screens like that. But he's a pretty big guard that can do that. You know? Or come off the bench. If you wanted that role, he should have came off the bench. Just like in Atlanta. Atlanta was having the same complaints that I had, you know. Our fans were complaining about CJ like that because our fans aren't as knowledgeable. Some of them were. It was like, oh, they were saying what I was saying. He would chuck up shots. Like when you bring the ball up the court and everybody runs down to the court or down the post up, and you just run up and jack up a shot, it demoralizes people. The ball has energy. I cannot stress enough. Ball handling and passing are the two most important skills, because the ball is the most important object. We got to get them to realize we here, we get it. But we got to get them to realize this. That's why you got to keep seeing these two guards put in the point guard position, thinking it's cool. No. Like Devin Booker don't need to be a point guard. He don't want to be the point guard. He's not as most efficient as the primary ball handler. You know what I'm saying? Like there's different levels of decision making between point guards and shooting guards. I'm gonna make another whole video on that. But CJ in Atlanta, last 2 games, people was talking about how good CJ was in Atlanta. Those 2 games, and he wasn't. He wasn't. The second game, way better. First game, he padded stats. Once again, he got so many early shots and he took the most shots on the team on that first game. Nobody could get into a rhythm because he was jacking up early clock shots. And that is the thing. There's a difference if everybody touched the ball a little bit and then he would jack up a shot. Because the ball has energy. Just the ball moving even once gives more energy to everybody, because then you have a probability of getting it. You think to yourself, oh, there's hope. I might touch the ball. But when you see your primary decision maker, primary ball handler just come down the court and jack up a fucking shot, This is like I said, it destroys the flow of the offense. So yeah, CJ's always gonna get his buckets. But that is the main reason why not, because he's the primary ball handler a lot of these times. He just comes down, just jacks up a shot. Atlanta, like, they was getting their ass busted the second game, and they started winning when CJ started passing the ball. And then they put Kuminga on Cat. Cat was eating, and then, hey, Kuminga, lock his ass up. So they put Kuminga on Cat, locked him down after that, after Cat was eating. And then CJ started passing the fucking ball. They say, oh, it's so good without cursing, but because I see all these channels like glazing CJ, and CJ did good. He had a good game in game 2. Game 1, it looked like he had a good game, but like game 1, he was the main reason they lost the game. You know what I'm saying? And CJ almost sold in game 2 with those free throws at the end. Don't buy into the full goals of CJ McCollum, bro. Like, is that the fact that he gets so much more credit to Jrue Holiday is absolutely sickening. You know what I'm saying? And Jrue, top 5 defender of all time. So I said, I'm always going to compare CJ and Jrue because of what they meant to New Orleans, and then CJ and Jose because I watched Jose run the offense. Running the offense is a skill. You have to be able to do that. If you would have just had Jose run the offense, and the Knicks should play Jose. He was like +5 in a few minutes, and I saw his playmaking. Passing is the second most important skill, and Jose is one of the best passers in the league. Jose Alvarado is one of the best passers in the league. And CJ, in the regular season, he was a good passer. And we're talking about Kevin Durant. The Rockets, they took off. Why? Because Durant became a better passer. He even said so after they lost the game. He had this fucking epiphany. He's like, you know what? Maybe I need to evaluate myself and how I play. I was like, it took you this long. And this version of Kevin Durant, after that interview, that version of the Rockets, how they were doing good, that is the dude people thought he was. Like, if you can shoot and like play make out of that, that is how you maximize your offensive value. But then, the playoffs come, and then CJ reverted back to himself. KD reverted back to himself. Now CJ, he was able to pull back and started playmaking. Once CJ started playmaking, that's when Atlanta won the game. CJ has to be if CJ is going to be the primary ball handler, he has to be a playmaker. Atlanta has a bunch of fucking scorers. They need to touch the ball. They need to get themselves going. And you're a veteran. Like CJ, you can get going at any time you want. Get everybody else involved first. Since Jalen Johnson clearly ain't that guy yet. Like I said in my other video, I don't believe it. And Elk said what I was thinking of. Shout out to Athletic Alchemy. He's like, Jalen Johnson has the face of a bench player. He does. He does. Jalen Johnson just looks and feels like a bench player. He doesn't have the aura of a superstar, you know what I'm saying? Remember, I was saying Jalen Johnson just missing something. He's a good player, but he don't got that Trae Young swag. He don't got that Anthony Edwards swag. Even if you hate on Zion and LaMelo, he don't have that it factor. He don't have that thing. Kuminga does. That's what I think. And CJ kind of does. He has that fake thing. But he does if he's passing the ball. Knicks could have used Jose. It's crazy. Jose and CJ played each other. And Jrue's playing for Portland. So Portland fans can see firsthand that Jrue Holiday is just a better player than Dame Lillard. And they're never going to admit it. But the real ones will look at Jrue and be like, yeah, he's a better player. And another reason why I know Jrue, that they know that Jrue's a better player than Dame Lillard. After that playoff series, after the Pelicans hold up. After the Pelicans took the belt out, how my mom used to do. Ooh, let's get the shit out of it. One time. We got the. After the Pelicans put belt to ass on Portland in a historic ass whipping of a 6 seed, destroying a 3 seed by like 20 points every game, Portland fans would blow up. This is back in the day when ESPN had the message boards. Rest in peace to the ESPN message board. Trolling Central, so many good times, good memories, you know what I'm saying? But Portland fans would come out the woodwork. Every Pelicans like video or article Portland fans on that bitch hating. And on their message board, I would be in their message boards and shit. They were hate New Orleans. They hate Jrue. They hated Jrue so much. And I showed you because, like, if this guy locks down your guy and puts up 20 on the other end, he's better than your guy. Jrue Holiday is better than Dame Lillard, and he's always been. And so, and that's part of the reason why I do this, because the Pelicans looked at Jrue Holiday and thought C.J. McCollum was a better player. And that's why that's why I be so like, I be trying to be positive, but I do believe, because my negativity isn't towards players, it's normally towards, fans and organizations. You know what I'm saying? Because the fans have so much effect. These organizations don't know what the hell they're doing. These content creators have so much pull. Because the teams want to make money. If the fans are spending money and telling you we don't like this person, or telling you to get rid of them, it's like, I guess we could go try this out. So we got rid of Jose for nothing. When we need a primary ball handler. So it's like Jrue Holiday all over again. It's like we got rid of Jrue. We actually got some stuff for Jrue, but then, ended up squandering that. And then we gave CJ the max, and all the fans loved it. When the Pelicans fans picked up CJ McCollum, ticket sales went up. Fans, and it felt like a betrayal. After watching Jrue lock this fucking dude down, the fact that New Orleans fans embraced C.J. McCollum more than they embraced Jrue Holiday just pissed me off to no extent. You know what I'm saying? And it's same with Jose. Now the fans actually fuck with Jose. This is the one time the fans are right. It's the Pelicans media that forced Jose out. And he's a primary ball handler who's not going to shoot the ball when he doesn't need to. That is a skill. That's what most teams need. Because if you have a bunch of scorers, you don't need a ball handler who's just going to shoot the ball. That's probably with DeJounte Murray. He's not really a true point guard. He's really more of a combo guard. You know what I'm saying? Jose and DeJounte would have worked well together. But C.J. McCollum, he's doing good on the Hawks. He deserves all the praise that he's getting. But he's not Jrue Holiday. He's not in the same breath. And when people go out of their way to give this dude so much credit that he doesn't deserve. But like I say, as long as he passes the ball, he's going to be good. And once again, he was good in the second half of Game 2 when he wasn't chucking early shot clock shots. So, all right, so I guess that's those three plays. That was the meat of that. And the next part, so I'm going to end the video on Jrue Holiday versus Draymond Green. Ooh, that came out of nowhere, huh? Because, we always hear Draymond Green is the best defender of this generation. Draymond Green's an overrated defender. He's overrated all over the place, but he overrated in a weird way. So, Draymond Green was like Dyson Daniels when he was in New Orleans. And a little bit in Atlanta, apparently, too. I guess he's still like this. And the fact that Dyson Daniels was a great off-ball player, off-ball defender, but on defense, his on-ball defense was kind of bad, to be honest with you. And for a lot of Draymond Green's career, that's how he was. He would get cooked one-on-one a lot. Like, he was good. He was a good one-on-one defender, but like, son, and I guess I'm biased being a Pelicans fan because every time we play Golden State, I just watch Anthony Davis crush this fucking dude all day. I never, in the history of me being a Pelicans fan of any game we ever had, I've never seen Draymond play any good defense on Anthony Davis ever in the history of my life. Destroy this dude. If you're a generational defender, you're getting obliterated. So I was a little biased there. That's why the Lakers always destroy, Golden State. Because they had nobody to defend Anthony Davis. It wasn't LeBron, overrated LeBron. Anthony Davis carried that team. Him, Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, Rondo. You know what I'm saying? So, when I hear generation offenders, Jrue Holiday is one of the top 5 defenders of all time. And the fact that Jrue Holiday doesn't have a Defensive Player of the Year award is just fucking criminal. Like Malcolm Brogdon, I think it's Malcolm Brogdon. No, the dude, I see his face. I said in another video, he's one of the dudes that Pelicans fans hate. He came from Milwaukee in the Jrue Holiday trade. We traded Jrue Holiday for this garbage. And there's another one too. He won Defensive Player of the Year from Milwaukee, guard from Milwaukee. I don't know why I can't think of his name. He was trash over here. Marcus Smart won Defensive Player of the Year. Rudy Gobert stole Anthony Davis's Defensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year was a joke because once again the media is mostly casuals who don't know even how to analyze defense. Wemby winning Defensive Player of the Year unanimously is a joke. There's plenty of defenders that really. Scotty Barnes should have won it. Like Scotty Barnes is the most consistent defender all year, and I just can't stand the way people analyze defense. People pick and choose when they want defense. And that's why I'm wearing number 3. But I'm talking about my boy Jrue Holiday. How we had some of the best guards in history. Jrue Holiday, Chris Paul. You know what I'm saying? And dudes that can just do everything. Like I said, I love Jose. Jose is going to be a great player. He's already really good. He does everything. He's like a short Jrue. And I just don't get it. What are you even looking for when you're looking for defense? What are you looking for? Like, it's more than just like being able to stop somebody. It's your positioning, calling back to the quarterback of the defense. Jose was quarterback of the defense. CJ is not a good defender for most of his career. Now, he's gotten better. Atlanta CJ is way better than New Orleans CJ. Like, New Orleans CJ was one of the worst defenders ever. That dude was trash. That's value. Like, that's more value CJ just didn't bring. And people keep talking about CJ as if he's a better player or even close to being the same player that Jrue is, and he's not. People talk about Draymond Green, you know what I'm saying, as if he's close to the player that Jrue Holiday is. He's not. You know what I'm saying? I watched Jrue Holiday guard KD. KD said, I said in another short, KD said Jrue Holiday is the best defender he's ever faced. Nobody guards me better than Jrue Holiday. From Milwaukee, they put P.J. Tucker on Kevin Durant, and he hit the game-tying shot. In overtime, they put Jrue Holiday on Kevin Durant, missed that bitch. Jrue Holiday. Draymond Green, yes, every once in a while he could play great defense in certain matchups. And then go to state fans, so mostly casuals, because it's LA. LA is large population, and not LA, but California. Large population, they're mostly casuals. They overrate their players a lot. So they keep saying that Draymond is this amazing defender, which he is, but he's not as amazing as people say. Now, Draymond has gotten better as a team. It's crazy. Draymond's gotten worse as a team defender over the years, because he gambles way more. But he's gotten better as an on-ball defender. So it's like his overratedness is always weird. It's like even on the offensive end, He'd be underrated in some aspects, and then it goes down, and it comes back up, and he's overrated in some aspects. Draymond Green is just a weird player. Like, he's a much better one-on-one defender now, much worse team defender now. He doesn't have faith in people in the system. So he gambles too much. He doubles. He comes off and doubles way more than he should now. So it's weird. But Jrue Holiday is very consistent. He's not as good of a defender as he was in his prime. But he's still defensively smart. He's made up for that by being better offensively. And he's improved Jrue Holiday has improved his point guard skills. He's already a good point guard. Now he's even better. Jrue Holiday, man, so he's really in that tier that could be, he could be in that GOAT tier. Like I said in another one, if Jrue Holiday had the offensive package, and if he didn't miss so many games in his career, so he really could have been up there like talking with the GOATs. If he would have improved his offensive game earlier, he really would have been in like discussion for top 10 player of all time. Because once again, how good you are is about total value. Like people like to pick and choose the flashy thing. They'll take one aspect of a player and look at that. People look at Shaq and think he'll be just unstoppable in today's game. And Shaq is another overrated player. Like I said, defensively, he was good around the basket sometimes, but he couldn't get up and down the court. He would cost you points because he couldn't get up and down the court. In the slowest era. So just imagine, like, you're playing 4-on-5 with Shaq, and Shaq's not guarding the perimeter like Anthony Davis. You know what I'm saying? The crazy thing is, Jrue Holiday could guard the post. That's another reason why I say Jrue and AD are the two of the top 5 defenders of all time. Both of them can guard the post and the perimeter. Jrue Holiday is probably the best post defender at the guard position in the history of the game. Honestly, I don't even think it's close. I don't really think that's really much of a... Well, maybe Tony Allen. Is he a guard or a forward? I think he's kind of between it. You know what I'm saying? But no, because I watched Jrue Holiday lock up Jokic in the post. I watched it. You know what I'm saying? I watched him freaking lock down Dame and give him 20 on the other end. I watched him lock up KD. No, Draymond is not that caliber dude. So that's really what I want to end it out on. Put some respect on Jrue Holiday's name. This is all it really is all related. KD, Jrue Holiday, CJ McCollum, Jose Alvarado. All four of those players really related to both in basketball wise, philosophy wise, and how the fans and GMs view the game. You need a playmaker because KD is in that world where he said he don't need a point guard, which is dumb as shit. Like in that CJ McCollum kind of mode. I need somebody to go get buckets, take pressures on me. No, you need somebody who can make the game easier for everybody else too. Because you're over there worrying about yourself, but you need somebody who can make the game easier for other people. Yes, Kevin Durant might be an overrated scorer, but he's still a generational scorer. So of course, point guard isn't as effective for you, but individually. Even though he is, though, if you really have one, though, but KD doesn't have that kind of mind. He's a selfish basketball mind. Until the end of the season, where the gear started clicking, he's like, maybe I should play basketball the right way. And he did. And the team got better. But, passing and playmaking are two very important skills. I don't know what the fuck happened with Philly. I'm sorry, I can't really, say that. I've never been a Philly fan. I've never been a Boston fan, so I never really cared about the series. I messed with Jaylen Brown, though, a little bit more, especially after they shut down this event. But that's about it. I can ramble off forever. I told you on the other video, I could talk Jrue Holiday all day. I can literally talk Jrue Holiday all day. But that's going to be it from me. I'm your boy, DJ Rooster. Wake your ass up. Because Wallace never sleeps. You heard me?